Hey gang, welcome back to part 2 of our Billy's Bluff revisit and reacquaintance, basically, to get ourselves back into the into this map just to see how things are going. A couple of planes here. We're still running prop planes. We need to change that up for sure. But we're still outside Tin Can just here. We're going to crack on. We're going to catch one of these planes very shortly back down to near Sharkfin Bay, that area. Then we'll catch a train. Then we'll get on the train to head up to Cape Hank. So we're gonna have to do a couple little trains. So we'll start off the episode differently this time. We'll start it off as a bit of a like we're traveling to get out to the actual, let's have a look here, place itself, but using public transport is what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, I got it out in the end there. Just here, this is the oil refinery from before, outside Tin Can. And this is pretty much Tin Can is in a nutshell. It's not huge, it's not a very big town. It doesn't get a great deal of demand at the train station either. So it's something that we probably need to work on and work towards moving on in the future. Trying to really up the ante down in here, because Yakhead and Tin Can don't necessarily get a lot of demand. Now, before we get the plane over, this is some of the work that went on down in Yakhead train station. It was pretty bland. Basically, the town itself used to, when we first started here at Yakhead, it literally was just a little bit down here. That was it. That was the size of it. It was as a small town. And this is how Yakhead has grown over time. So it is ever expanding. It is growing. This is the point it got to by the time we finished up season 1, basically. And then we've gone through and we've put in a better train station, decorated it all up downtown here. We've basically, I don't know what's going on through here. They're probably, oh, okay. These gaps will actually be where the people walk through. Yep, that makes sense. Very concrete jungle-esque down here. I'm sure there's supposed to be some plants and stuff going on, but there's just not. Anyway, that's what this place looks like down here. This is the cargo station here, and for the goods factory that's in town here. It all sort of works with that, because that's Yakhead's main product is goods. Okay, right, let's head back over here anyway. Now that we've established that, we've done that, we're pretty much finished over here. We're going to get a plane from Tin Can. Look at the little ferry. See, I even tried to up the ante with the ferries that head over to here and back, you know, just to try to get everything connected. That might be cannibalizing our train lines a little bit. I don't know. I just tried to get people to and from the airport as best I could. I think it looks really good. Okay, here is our plane. We're going to catch this down to Sharkfin Bay, like I said. Then we'll get the train from outside of Sharkfin Bay, basically back all the way up to Cape Hank. So there will be a couple of transfers along the way. Then we'll be off at Cape Hank. We can begin our have a look through there before heading back down south, or sort of the edge and south of the map, where the big high-rise cliff faces are, and we can probably finish up our tour there just with that. All right, we can see how things work. Let's speed up just a little bit. Doesn't the map look brilliant? Oh, just the scenery. I love putting airports out over water as well, like big man-made areas. So let's fast forward this a little. Look at all the people waiting in here. We're gonna have to upgrade the planes, I think. This is brilliant. It's exactly what you want to hear. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure your seatbelts are fastened for takeoff. Tray tables are stowed, and all bags are under your seats or in the overhead lockers. Please refer to your in-cabin cards in case of an emergency, and watch the stewards as they go through the emergency procedures. I am Captain Van Ham on your flight today, heading to Sharkfin Bay Airport from Tin Can. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. Did you like that? I could be a captain. Alright, so here we have takeoff. We'll go at, like, what speed? We'll go at 2 times, because these older planes tend to be a little bit slower. Now, I will give a little bit of tilt down, just so we can see what's going on. Don't worry about over the edge of nowhere. Alright, that's, no one wants to see that. Let's sort of get a look around here, though, at what's going on. This is a really good shot to sort of see how things look from the plane's view, and I really like that. Let's go from like there if we can. That's sort of a good angle, I think. You can get a real grasp for just what it looks like down there with the overheads. Now, if you have, I encourage you at the start of the playlist of Billy's Bluff Season 1, there is an actual music I put to camera that flies through this map. So it shows off the map at the beginning with the towns in their smallest form. I encourage you to check that out if you haven't, because it actually gives you a good scope on how this map has actually grown, especially with these cities and these towns that came just from pretty much nothing to how big they are now. There's Cape Hank over there. In case you're wondering, that is what Cape Hank looks like now, and that's where we're heading to shortly. You can see it's a metropolis. Basically, there's Billy's Bluff down there, and the other respective ones there, and that's up Port Flipper over there, and Mac Point. Right, so just so you're aware, that's what those places look like. We'll sort of square up here. We've got Sharkfin Bay and the others down here now. We're coming in over the top of the farmlands. Doesn't it look pretty? I really enjoy this map. Well worth the flight. Absolutely really enjoyed this. I'm really excited to get onto the trains and actually do a bit of a train ride up there. There's a train going there. I'll see. I don't know. I can't remember how many. I think we're running a metro line, or are we up that line? Basically, so it'll be interesting to see what train we will get. Basically, we get it up to Billy's Bluff, as I'm aware. So we might have to get off. I think we have to get off. Past Dot. We go through Dot. Yeah, I think we go through Dot. Let's just have a look here. We're gonna get off now. We're gonna. So we go. I think we're gonna get to Chalk Hills basically. Then we get the change. We get on the old Gordon steamer, and the Gordon steamer takes us up to Billy's Bluff, where we then get on another interchange into Cape Hank. Right. So here we are. This is the airport here. We would typically then have to get a bus, which there's a bus coming right now. So let's have a look here. Oh, look at this old timer. Holy moly. You need a little bit of work done to you. Let's just ride on the front of the bus so we're not... Oh, that's... We'll keep it at 2 times, otherwise it'll take forever. Basically. But it's a bit of fun doing this, I think. Wouldn't you think? Just doing a bit of a track ride. What? We'll go at 2 times still. 2 times is quite fast. But look at the skyline in the background. Like, that's the city right down in the background. That's the high rises. I just think it looks great, you know. There goes the plane again. We'll get some more modern planes going on, I think, as well. We'll really sort of start to modernize this map a little bit and bring it up into the 80s, 90s and 2000s as we go. And we'll kind of pause the map at 2023 when we get to it. I like to do that with my maps. When I bring them up to the date we're sort of in, I kind of then just pause it from there and leave it. Alright, we might have just missed the train, which sucks. They don't really have their train timings down pat, do they? Or is that a train right now that I can hear? I think we've missed it. There's a total shop. That shop's got totally everything you need. Totally. Alright, ooh. Oh, I didn't expect that. We're rolling in down this way. Lovely. Oh, watch out, person. Ah, here comes the crazy bus. Alright, all aboard. Here we are leaving Sharkfin Bay. Now, we're on one of these a lot of our trains are very old dung. As you can see, I put trains on and I sort of just don't worry about it for a while until we get a big backlog and then I go and fix it. But you know, when you start to micromanage everything on the map like this, it does start to get a little overwhelming. So a lot of this we need to clean up a lot of the vehicles and stuff on this. Alright, so we're gonna ride from this view. Look at this old thing. It's definitely seen better days. Is that lady pretending to read? Maybe she's... Excuse me, ma'am. Are you pretending to read things in there, or are you talking to... She's talking to no one. Let's go back to our view. Alright. So, crikeys. I want to get on that metro line looking train up there. Yeah, that seems really nice. Let's get off here, and let's get on that train up ahead, shall we? Okay, I didn't actually realize this, But I've actually changed this line to be set to point rather than one long continuous line. It's what was kind of confusing me. But I've got multiple trains doing point-to-point transfers. I think because point-to-points can generate you more money, you can lift and shift people a lot quicker and you can generate more money that way. However, I think going forward we might want to refine this line and make it go the full length with a set amount of trains. So we get the full ride along, because I don't typically like point to point. However, like I said, point to point makes you the money. Treat. Oh, look at this, beautiful. Let's get a, yeah, look at that. Right, so we're heading up here to Dot now. Lovely little countryside here. We've got a bit of farmland going on there. We've got industrial stuff going on there. And then coming up to the beautiful town of Dot. Well, I say beautiful, but like I said last episode, we kind of just slapped a station in the middle of it and said, thanks for coming, Dot. Right, so I don't know what train connects basically here, but I think we're going to have to get off here and get another train as well. Yep, well, here it is. We've been left stranded on the station. Our train has just gone back. Now we're in there. Our train has gone back that way. We are waiting for a train to come down here. We're one of the many passengers on this platform frustrated at the fact that trains aren't flowing quick enough. That lady, there's some really crazy outfits going on here. We got people wearing outfits from the 60s and the 50s, and we got people wearing outfits from the 80s. Look at that. She's got the old red leather jacket on, and then they've got the old candy stripe with the yellow candy cane hat and stuff going on there. Where is this train? All right, here we go, and luckily we squeezed on, even though we rocked up to the platform late. We've got a VIP pass, you see, being the owner of the company. Now in Cape Hank is actually our company headquarters too, so it's I did a little bit of work around the company headquarters to bring it up to spec. Can we get a little bit of speed here? I'll go 2 times again. This train ride's taking much longer than expected, purely because I forgot that it was point to point rather than the full length. Right, well, last stop here before we head up to Billy's Bluff, but not the last stop on the train, because we have to do one more transfer from Billy's Bluff to get to Cape Hank also. We might also do a train ride that goes from there. I think it's called the Loop or something, the Cape Hank Loop. Right, the intercom has just come over and informed us that the train is almost into the station. The transfer to Billy's Bluff. Excited to get on this beautiful old steamer, right? The only steamer I think we've got left on the map. I thought we had, I think we might have a legacy one still up at the snowy area, but this is the only steamer I think we've got left on the map. So yeah, right, not making great money, put it that way. We'll have to readdress a lot of that stuff when we go through. We'll have to readdress a lot of the money values and where we're losing money, where we can sort of refine it. Look, and some things will drop out of money, but as long as when they land they can go back into the positive, that's all we really need to care about. But when we're pulling up at places and they're still in the negative, that's where we need to start refining a couple of things. So it's really good to get an idea of this stuff as we go, just looking at certain lines going, okay, you're not really making money at all. What can we do to fix you? It's almost like we're the owner of we're the new boss of a company coming in, and we're just getting the lay of the land. That's basically what this feels like, and how we're going to basically put our mark on this map and turn this company into a more profitable company. That's kind of what it feels like, and I'm actually really excited for it if you think of it like that, like a business sort of challenge. We're a new business owner coming in, just trying to really sort of ruffle some feathers, you know, the old word, oh, the new boss, oh, he's a slave driver, I hate him, oh, I don't like the new boss, he really makes, I can't slack off anymore. You know, so it's quite exciting. Anyway, we're crossing over this viaduct. Oh, there's an autosave. Who would have thought? The classic autosave. At least with the new machine, the autosaves are much quicker on this machine. Oh, heck yeah, they are. Right, if you are wondering, the new computer specs are in the section down below. It's on a Google Sheets system. You can see all my new specs that I'm running. Alright, so we're about to come up into Billy's Bluff here. I'm going to slow it down just a sec as we come through. It's really nice coming through here. Really love this. You start to get this beautiful city on the left, little houses on the right. We've got some picket fencing going on, some big cliff face walls, retaining walls. I just really like it. It's really nice. Beautiful. It's a really nice little station too. I love it with the buildings just sitting like that as well, just on the other side of the glass. Did a little bit of work in and around here as well. You can see I've done a lot of work. Down there is just gaps down below, in case you're wondering, and a lot of picket fencing and stuff to go on there. Right, we're getting off at this station because the next train we're getting, we're actually heading down that right hand side, whereas this train here, we'll watch it go down, is actually going to be heading down that left hand side. We can actually see you there, and it's actually going to be shooting off down that way into the distance. Goodbye, Gordon. We will preserve you. We try and figure out a way to make more money with you, I think. We might have to just fix up the wagons, that sort of stuff, keep them going. It's actually quite a long train, isn't it? As it rattles off into the distance. Alright, so I decided to catch the train from about here so we can roll through Billy's Bluff on this side so you can just get a look at what it looks like from here. Doesn't it look pretty good? This is the train we'll be getting back down to Cape Hank though. I think this looks fantastic. Look at it. What a great town. This is the capital of the map. Even though if you think about it, Cape Hank probably should be, with its grandeur and its size and how much it offers, but still, I like it. I'm going to keep it that way. It's called Billy's Bluff for a reason. We're just going to do it. I'm going to just tab through quickly so we can get these people off, get them back on board. We are still running the old Zephyrs here, so we definitely they're definitely in need of an upgrade. Also, we'll go at 2 times. This one's running backwards because the lines were all back to front and mixed up, but it's fine. They can just run backwards for a bit. We're going to be replacing them pretty much straight out of the gate, I think. And same with these signals. And I've unfortunately left a lot of signal work on here that I shouldn't have, which was silly of me. And it's something that I do a lot. I forget to upgrade the signals as I get through the ages, okay? Don't hate me, it's just I forget to do it. There's a lot going on. I mainly focus on getting a train line in and then making it look pretty. So that's where my main focus lays. Alright, so we sort of burn down through the country. What we'll do is, as we get to Cape Hank, we'll slow down a little bit. As we get into the station, we roll down one side of the freight yard as we cut down halfway through up into the town. So it's actually quite cool to see. And then I can show you around town a little bit as well, and the freight yard that we're going on. When we get through this tunnel here, I will start to slow it down a little bit right about now. Right, just here. Oh, look at this. We've met with a freight train coming the opposite direction. Isn't that great? Oh, it's one of my favorite trains too. Down it, off it goes. So here it is here. There's a lot to take in with this place. A lot of lines doing a lot of different things here as well. But you can see here we dip down underneath the actual freight and depot yard itself. We do a little tunnel work up and under into the middle of Cape Hank. Otherwise, you just can't get to Cape Hank any other way unless we just burrowed right through the actual freight yard. But you'll see what I mean shortly with how it's set up and what it looks like as to why you can't just do that. Once again, the freight yard and depot yard is pretty much the size of the town itself. We seem to do that a lot, like we did over at Yakhead. Alright, so here we go. Oh, I forgot that there was signs and billboards and things like that. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, I love it. A lot of detailed trees and walls, and I love it. Look at these old apple trees rolling over the fences and stuff. We come up into here and merge onto the main line itself. Ooh, get peeling with Monopoly, with the McDonald's Monopoly. Alright, and we pull into Cape Hank Station. Look at it. It's a really nice little station actually, Cape Hank. It's quite old school meets new school, but new school in the sense of like it is 70s, 80s. They tried to bring it into the new age. But basically this is Cape Hank itself in the station. This is what the actual station looks like. It's very I've kept it very regal, very basic. very like I've cut like the different heights of grass in the hedge just with the grass, kept it very, very simple. I've put in some nice brickwork, once again telling you just what like these are the walls, these are actual walls I've used as little separation points between the road. You can just see there, filled in gaps here. We've got a little bit of a muddy pond area here. This is the little car park that I've just basically plopped in myself, painted up. You know, you got the sort of mossy rocks and overhanging trees and stuff along the fences, car park. And this here is actually the car park, and you can see a little path through there, all through here. Car park to help out with the train station a bit as well. But it's a car park also for, okay, oh, has this had an, oh, it's had an upgrade. But for our company, beats walking transportation. Take a bus, it beats walking. Take a plane, it beats walking. Take a ship, it beats walking. Right? Put it on a car, put it on a freight train, it beats walking it. Right? That's just literally had an upgrade. That wasn't like that. Wow, that's pretty cool. Anyway, this is our company building. That can go away. This is our company building anyway. It's definitely and I did all the garden work in it. Look at this. Look how nice this garden work is, hey? If that's not detail, I don't know what is. Some stairs out the front. Really, I would like to say hammed it up. Right? And then obviously more sign work and stuff down here. Garden work in and around here. That's, I think, supposed to have a post in it. It's not. And then just blocked it off there. Alright, let's move on because there's plenty more of this town to go. We've got the passenger line does actually run through town up that way as well. We probably should do a track ride along of that. You know what? We'll leave that track ride along for the live stream when we do it. Or not live stream, but we potentially might do it in episode. Basically, this is like the prequel to season 2. Think of it like that. These 2 episodes are the prequels to season 2. Think of it like that. Alright, so this is our big Cape Hank freight yard. Right, it's quite big. We've got depots here. We've got shunting trains even. Look at this. We've got shunting trains in here, literally pushing carriages around for stuff. If that's not bloody exciting, I don't know what is it. Their one job is to just push wagons around the map. We've got repair stations in here. We've got more trains shunting down. Look at this. This is bloody brilliant. Trucks in the background. I sound surprised because I completely forgot that we put shunting trucks in this yard. Like working ones. I completely did forget that. We've got this in here, this wagon thing, so you can get different wagons out. We do have a turnaround here where we can actually pull trains from this actual turn point here, basically. Look at this, these shunting. It's actually shunting it up into this into the actual freight yard that is actually utilized to export and import. Alright, but that's pretty much it. You can see Cape Hank fenced off around here. I've put the sound barriers up basically for the town around the industrial sort of area as you sort of go. And this is all sort of industrial up near the port. You can see just here and the sort of people and the buildings are kind of sheltered from the trains and the stuff in the background. Along the front here I added in a bit of a keyway. You see I started putting in a bit of a keyway around the front here with paths, you know, so people can walk their dogs, go for runs around. And then we've got into sort of the passenger side of things. We started to do up the passenger service a little bit and get that sorted. You can see we've even got some people waiting down here. A lot of decoration needs to happen down here for the people. But this is the actual port here at Cape Hank and what it looks like. So what we've got going down here, we've got a floating island. Some of you may have seen this. I mean, if you've seen the series before, you will have seen this, but some of you might have seen a similar thing that I used in the deluxe series, and before that I used it in other series as well. It's something that I actually, think of it like almost a bit of my signature port I like to use. I like to put a floating part of port out with the causeway that goes to it. Yeah, work it that way. Alright, down in here we've actually got the entrance to the actual port down in here. Alright, kind of fenced off. You can see it's all sort of fenced off here with the train line that runs through that way and up, that shoots up around the side and follows this little bridge that it's kind of like a bypass that helps the trucks in and out around here. I could almost just do a full tour in this place, couldn't I? We're already running pretty long as well, lengthy, and we've only just gotten to Cape Hank. But that's pretty much Cape Hank in a nutshell. Down here we've got some lovely big office buildings that work, like the port office buildings and stuff. You can just see what the view is there. We've got ships coming in and out all the time. Lovely, big, beautiful port. Down here we've got like a port services. This is like the port services buildings down here. Look at that, we've even got... Oh, this is brilliant. We've got I forgot. We put helicopters down here. Huh. You're carrying bricks. So bricks getting transport. Look at the helicopters. This is a very, very heavy area for air traffic. There is an airport just over here. It's a cargo port. It's not an actual passenger port. Don't think it is. I could be mistaken. There's a big cargo. There's a big freight plane just up there actually. Not really carrying much grain. So once again, a lot of things we kind of have to get sorted out down here. But this is like port services where we build a lot of ships and send them out. But that's basically Cape Hank. You can see it all here. Behind Cape Hank is a massive big quarry. Absolutely enormous quarry for stone, where that actually gets sent into Hidden Valley here, appropriately named, I think, Hidden Valley. And Hidden Valley is a massive producer of conmats, and those conmats get sent on a line down into Cape Hank itself. Now, there is no direct route from Hidden Valley to Cape Hank itself in terms of public transport, so that is one more thing we might even have to look at some point. You can just see how little Hidden Valley is compared to Cape Hank, right? We've also got Millionaire Row out here. This is like the Millionaire Row. I live out here up on the hills, right? Up in their mansions up on the hill, looking out over everything. All right, probably one of my favorite places on the map, probably one of my favorite cities I've ever put together. And that's just it again. Lovely sort of pond there behind our headquarters. Just love how all the greenery works in and around here. And yes, they have a plastics factory in the middle of their city as well. I like to put a lot of factories in towns, right? As in, that's the product that they produce. All right, what I'll do is there is a train, right? There's a train that loops all the way around up to Exhead, to White Sands, and then back into Cape Hank. There's also a diverting train that heads off down to Kings Path North, through Kings Path. Well, Kings Path South and White Sands actually share the station. So the train actually comes down to Kings Path North, then goes into Budgie Islands and back up that way. All right, so we can have a look at that for the first episode or the first live stream, however we do it. But there is an airport here that drops off and does a lot of drop off and stuff. There's also the Comats choppers that are doing that as well. And then over there you see Donny Doo. There is a lot of import and export between Cape Hank and Donny Doo. And on that, one thing that I've never actually... We haven't even touched Frog Hollow down here. Poor little Frog Hollow has never had anything done to it. And this is where we start to merge up in here. So, you know, we could actually give Exhead a little sort of connection to Frog Hollow. So Frog Hollow can get connected up. And then we could probably connect up Dusty Heights, Pin. This is a lot of our oil and fuel infrastructure and building going on up here. These, you know, we've got a lot of this is look at this, all these big muddy oily flats up here we've got going on, and we've got you know, massive big churner and burner of it over here outside Dusty Heights that produces it, right? These guys typically haven't had a lot of attention. We only just put in a crazy looking passenger line not too long before we ended season 1. It goes between the both of them. Right, so that's them. There's a lot of convoluted systems that work in terms of getting crude up to here, to refinery, to make fuel, to around and about. All right, this was a new addition. You know what? We'll get on this truck. This was a really new addition, putting this motorway in with this bridge that heads on over to the other island. Right, this was actually a very, very new iteration towards the end of season 1. You can just see the actual height that this bridge is built at. Alright, now that's a span. Am I right? I'm right. These Peterbilts obviously need a little bit of tender love and care as well. We don't Probably need to ride this all the way in. We'll do it. There's more helicopters down here, and this is basically where we started off season 1. Right in this corner is where it all kicked off. And what a lovely place to finish up our little revisit of the map, is to finish exactly where we started around in episode 1's that sort of space. Come on, in you get. Let's get into town already. Yeah, make this thing go faster. It's a big motorway. These actually, we're better off putting a train on this, I think. These actually travel a long way. If you are new to my series and you are watching on, I typically like to use trucks to do a lot of heavy lifting, not just trains all the time. You get trucks for a reason, and I like to use them for that reason, because it's what happens in the real world, and I like that aspect of it. Okay, so we did a lot of work down here, especially with the helicopter. I did a lot of playing around for memory when it came. We'll get off down here. When it came to, yeah, see, this is an original site where I had the helicopter depot to work with the food plant. Now, Lofty Gap, if you don't know the story behind Lofty's Gap was actually founded. It was actually an explorer called Lofty, and Lofty actually fell into this gap and died right as he was exploring this great peninsula here before it was all settled, and then it became known as Lofty's Gap. All right, they've got Lofty's Gap up here, Gooley Hop, and that's it. That's the two towns up here, right? Lofty's Gap and Gooley Hop. We've got Boonhead down here, and we've got Ship Cove down here. Ship Cove had a lovely big connection that this was actually, we started working a lot with Boonhead, because Boonhead didn't have any connections at all till towards the end of season 1. So Boonhead, Ship Cove, and Perry Bar got their own train line put in there. We can do a track ride along one day on that as well. But back down here, you can see all the old area where it was painted and worked on, where we actually had the helicopter depot. It actually got shifted out of town over here into the farmland. We actually shift. You can see there's a helo there, rolls really close to the ground, and we've got a lot of food produce going on with it, so we can get food and goods down to Boonhead itself. And if we come down here, it's basically the only way Boonhead can get a connection up to the top. We were never going to plow a road straight up the hill, and as much as you just want to chuck a bridge there and roll it downhill, that was never going to happen here. It was always going to be some way or another of getting it up there. So this is basically, you can see it, there's a little bit of work went in down here to this, I'll try and get a good camera angle, to try and get this helicopter depot up to scratch. A lot of decorating down here. We've got emergency services, we've got refueling stations, we've got a man with flags, the all-important man with the flags, trucks that are rolling in and out. We've got accommodation, office buildings, we've got like a staff, basically canteen area, and the car park as well, right? Just to name a few. And that's basically Boonhead in a nutshell. Lofty's Gooley Hop is hasn't really grown that much. We kind of boxed it in with a lot of farm work, but it never really grew. We do have some connection here with the bus stop. That's as much as we're giving them. We're not giving them anything else. I don't want these towns getting ridiculously big. That's the plan of it. Now, the other end of the cargo port that we saw in up near Cape Hank and up near Kings Pass South and I forget, White Sands maybe. This is the other receiving end of that, and departure. We put a lot of grain on here and send it down there to be churned and burned into food. We also send a lot of grain to here, which actually feeds a lot of the population around this area. This is literally to help feed the mouths down that end, because we have such good farmland up here. All right, so this is basically where we kicked everything off down in this part of the map. Really love it. Look at this. Imagine owning this farmland where you get to see big heli. Look at these. Holy moly, you would not want to wake up early in the morning and go for a little stroll on a foggy day and just roll off the side of that mountain, that's for sure. You'll end up like Lofty in Lofty's Gap. Look at this little road, crikey, we should put a barrier on there. Who is actually building houses here? You nuts. Anyway, gang, what do we think? This is the map. Basically, you can see how much is actually going on. It's look, there's still things that we haven't really looked at Perry Bar, Ship Cove, and that much. We'll leave some stuff for the actual official start of season 2. I don't know how long season 2 is going to go for. It may not go for that long, because we may just do a few things and just come and visit and play around with this map just a little bit more to bring it up to spec a little bit, and then we might put the map to rest. And if you want, I can always put the map up on the Steam Workshop as it is. You'd have to get all the mods and stuff as well if you want to check it out for yourself, but I will tell you now, it's quite heavily intensive when it comes to running this map. Okay, gang, that is your lot for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, let's get back down and look at Cape Hank. I'll go Alt G. I just love this town. I never know where to look at it from. You can just see the actual stuff going on down here as well. Just everything. Ships rolling in. We got planes, helicopters. We got trains. Look at this. Trucks, cars, people, if you can even see them that far away. All right, but I hope you've enjoyed part 2 and part 1 of our revisit, our reacquaintance, and getting to know the map again. I certainly have. I've actually picked up a lot of what actually needs to happen and what we need to do to bring this map up to spec. Especially a lot of it is not fun stuff, like signal work needs to be fixed, train lines that aren't working properly, putting new trains on lines as well. So a lot of that stuff that needs to be fixed, but we'll get there. I think that's the enjoyment of this game, and I think it'll be really fun. All right, stay safe wherever you are. Stay glued to your screen. Plenty more coming your way. Get out of here.